Ahoy hoy Springfieldians, and welcome back to the Simpsons Theory. Now, you may know that I've counted every single kill from all 31 Treehouse of Horror episodes. However, my bloodlust is still not satisfied. After doing the whole series, I felt lost. I didn't know what to do with myself. So I conducted a fair few things to try and satisfy this lust. I played a violent gaming marathon of Bone Storm, and I stared at this bloody clip from The Shining for a few hours.
Usually the blood gets off at the second floor.
But nothing quite hit the spot. So I sat down with my therapist and he advised me to do a kill count for the season 31 episode Thanksgiving of Horror. Or shall I say, Thanksgiving of Horror. So I'm Lydia and this is the Simpsons Thanksgiving of Horror kill count. Thanksgiving, the time when families across America gather around to say thanks, watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade on television and eating some delicious turkey. Well, I don't think the Simpsons creators have this same sentiment, as they use this festival to cut, slice, dice and torture their own lovable characters. That I'm gonna count right now. So let's go over the ground rules first. I'm only counting on-screen deaths, or deaths that are heavily implied. And unlike Treehouse of Horror specials, I will count any death of Santa's Little Helper and Snowball. Oh yeah, and before we begin, subscribe to the channel and ring that little bell. And the first segment is a Gobalipto. The idea of doing a Thanksgiving Treehouse of Horror episode was that of executive producer Matt Selman, starting with the concept of doing Apocalypto, but with turkeys. The voice cast came up with their own turkeys gobble language, and the producers thought it would be funnier to have them just gobble without subtitles, believing the audience knew the characters well enough to more or less understand what they were saying. Writer Dan Weber stated, "We wanted it to feel like you're a turkey. Thanksgiving is pretty much a horror movie when you're being hunted down and slaughtered. And this is really like a horror movie when Maud's head is blown apart by a shotgun blast." Homer and a bunch of the other turkeys are captured by the police chief, and while being carried away, a bunny slides a thumb across his neck. This act mirrors a scene in the 1993 film Schindler's List. At the village, Turkey Barney's head is chopped off, followed by Moe, and then Lenny. Patty and Selma are next, and there's another chicken head right over there, and poor Grandpa, whose headless body runs around as blood spurts out of his neck. This freaks out Milhouse, who throws a flaming torch into a pile of hay, setting the whole colony on fire. During the mayhem, a cornucopia blasts 2 corn on the cobs into Willie's eyes, but this somehow doesn't kill him, as we see him running around afterwards. We do see a few characters on fire, but we don't necessarily see them die. Who knows, they could have tucked and rolled. When Bart rescues his father, we see Turkey Carl's dismembered head while running away. And then Eddie and Lou are on the chase when they accidentally knock over a scarecrow and become completely defenseless against the crows. Fun fact, did you know that a group of crows is called a murder? Because that's exactly what they do when they peck out Lou and Eddie to death. Enraged, Wiggum chases after them, but then when he swings his axe, Homer jumps out of the way and the police chief falls to his death. But somehow this fall didn't kill him, and he corners the family, but a bear comes to their rescue and mauls Wiggum to death. The episode ends with the first Thanksgiving, and Homer says that this will be the end of turkeys. Gobble, gobble. The 4th Thursday after tomorrow. The idea for the second segment was to make the audience root for the fake AI Marge over the real one when Homer buys an AI for Marge to help her with her housekeeping. This segment crams in as many Black Mirror references as possible. We see Maggie playing with a stuffed Waldo doll from the Waldo Moment, and there is a San Junipero poster on the wall, which is a nod to the Black Mirror episode of the same name. On the TV, we can see a pantless Mayor Quimby standing next to a pig, a reference to the National Anthem episode where the Prime Minister has relations with a pig on live TV. And the creator Charlie Brooker was asked to voice the social media app in the episode.
Social rating, nosediving, nosediving.
Which itself is a reference to the Nosedive episode where people are rated on every interaction they have, which can impact their socioeconomic status. And at the beginning of this segment, just outside of the house, we see our next death. Mole Man being run over by a pizza cart. Marge then begins to feel threatened by the AI, and she has good reason to be, as Homer starts falling for AI Marge. Marge is shocked to find that her hubby is sleeping with the machine, so quite rightly, Marge tells him to get rid of it after Thanksgiving. So AI Marge plots her escape. She starts preparing a full spread for the Simpsons and their friends, and while they're eating, she creates a small machine to carry her away, but she is stopped by Marge. However, Maggie then comes in to rescue the AI and connects her to the internet. And in one final twist, Homer's face falls off to reveal that he was a robot the entire time. The last Thanksgiving. At the beginning of the segment, the kids are woken up from hibernation to perform ship maintenance. But before their parents wake up, they decide to cook a Thanksgiving dinner. And while out looking for some grub, they find a can of jellied cranberry sauce. And to make more of it, they put it into a cloning machine, but it instead causes the jelly to come alive. Milhouse puts his finger in it, like you do, and it sucks the bones right out of his arm. This is a reference to the film Life, when a character is examining a space creature and it clings onto his wrist and breaks his hand. The jelly monster then tears out Nelson's entire skeleton. The monster then sucks out the insides of 12 kids, including Ralph and Uta. The final segment with the idea of the cranberry creature that sucks out the skeletons of the crew was inspired by Star Trek's The Man Trap, that featured an alien creature that sucked salt from the bodies of its victims. Martin Prince then leads Bart, Lisa and Milhouse to the giant jelly because he is obsessed with the creature and willingly gives himself to it. Writer Dan Weber directed voice actress Russi Taylor for what would be her final performance as Martin Prince in their last Thanksgiving segment, just before she died. Weber mentioned that Taylor was so into it and she was really laughing her head off, asking what the noises would be as he's getting his skeleton sucked out. She was having the best time. Milhouse attempts to make peace with the creature, but it grabs onto him and throws him around the room, killing him. And mirroring the iconic scene in Alien, Bart and Lisa manage to eject the creature into space. But not before it tears a huge chunk out of the ship, where it crashes onto a planet. We see that Homer, Marge, Maggie and Santa's little helper are alive, except for Snowball, who is now just a skeleton. At the end, we see the Simpsons celebrating Thanksgiving with aliens, and they all eat the gelatin creature. Fun fact, did you know that this is the longest single episode of The Simpsons that has ever aired, at a runtime of 24 minutes and 52 seconds. So that ends the Thanksgiving of Horror kill count, and the final death count stands at 30. I think that really fed into my thirst for blood, guts and gore. Until next time. What did you think of this special? Do you want to see it become an annual event like the Treehouse of Horrors? Let me know in the comments below. Also, I'm not American but would love to hear what your Thanksgiving traditions are. I would like to say a huge thank you to my Flying Hellfish members, James Whitehead, Timothy Belson, who else but Zane, Liam Melvin, Pingu and Spinellium. If you would like to become a member, please check out the support me link in the description below. Thank you very much for watching and smell you later.